Speed came out, and yeah, I passed on him. Hey, I'm not one of those creators who's got every card, and I just don't got it like that. But although Speed is kind of boring, Jeff and ironlad were also in the spotlight, so if you pulled for it, you could probably get something good regardless. And today I want to talk about ironlad. God damn, I think this is a good card, and it needs to be in more decks. So this deck has been around since Mockingbird came out, but I think it's still competitive, and even more importantly, it's one that most people can build. So let's start with the list. We essentially have a bunch of cards that have great text for ironlad to copy. If he hits Mr. Sinister, that's 2 6s. Brood, that's 18 power, and only for 4 cost. Doom, that's a 4/16. He has so much high-end potential, and in this deck, the low-end potential is he hits Mockingbird or just something that's okay, like Chavez or Forge. But Chavez and Forge are in here for Brood and Sinister. And thank God I found a deck to play Chavez in so I can use this fantastic variant. Ideally, you use Absman to copy the Brood, and you're able to get a 4/12. Although they can all get boosted by Patriot, and the Surfer also hits the Broods. Surfer hits Patriot, Surfer hits the Broodlings from Absman or ironlad, so there's so much synergy. And lastly, this deck can go super wide but not too tall in a lane, so I throw in Iron Man and Mockingbird. Iron Man, if my ironlad copies that, I essentially just win that lane for free. Mockingbird I rarely get for free, but I can tempo her out for like 2 cost or 3 cost along with the Patriot on turn 5. And it feels positioned pretty well into pretty much everything outside of like an Arishem type deck right now, although I found myself still beating quite a few Arishem players. So there's 2 Series 4/5 cards in this deck, and it's ironlad and Mockingbird. I think ironlad really ties this deck together, so I think he's the staple and I wouldn't sub him out, but Mockingbird is easily replaceable. I like the idea of Shaw or even Ultron in here, but with Ultron, the issue is if ironlad pulls Ultron, it could be a disaster, which is another big reason I like Doom in this deck over Ultron. Today, I am starting with 10 Silver Conquest tickets, and we are going to see how many of these we can convert into gold. First game, we start with what I believe is a Wiccan gamer, because who else is throwing down a turn 2 domino? And then Mirror Dimension pops up, and that's really scary because it could be Bar, but we luck out and these locations are great for us. I drop ironlad praying for no Doom pull, and he pulls Blue Marvel, which could be better, could be worse. And then with his Wiccan out, I'd normally be a bit scared, but he doesn't really have too much board space to work with. And I'm just praying he doesn't have Shang-Chi or Enchantress, and I put down Iron Man, which is why I love this location. And then he Kairas, so I know some big stuff is coming. And for 8 cubes, this is how my first Silver Conquest ends. So yeah, we get the dub, but the next game already on its way, and we're against an Arishem gamer, who actually is the first person I've seen play Speed. And yeah, with this deck I always snap when I'm gonna get Montage, because this deck feels so great with it. And on turn 3, I use Chavez to pull a 14 power Mockingbird, and then I drop down ironlad. While he gets a big Casanova, ironlad hits Absman, which just copies Chavez, which is definitely the worst pull left in my deck. But I go high with the Mockingbird, especially after the last turn, and they have a huge Wolfsbane, so now I'm conflicted. Do I want to go high and try to win Montage, or do I want to go with Doom and just spread my power over the 2 other lanes? So he plays Ronin, and then it's pretty big, but the moment of truth, I end up playing Dr. Doom, and all the Doom bots come marching in, And I get a full board, by the way, so good deck if you're trying to farm some alliance challenges. And we win the game. Then the next game, a slow start for both of us, but he has Wong on Citadel. And since it's from Arishem, I'm not overly afraid, especially when I play Ironlad and he pulls Brood, because that's about as good as it's gonna get. That just wins us the lane. I slam Blarvel on Citadel, and now I just have to win another lane. So final turn, he hits me with Legion and Uatu, but I just barely squeeze out the win with Iron Man and Chavez. If I knew he had Legion, the better play probably is just Mockingbird there, but either way, we win and we get the gold ticket. So I've had some solid pulls with Ironlad like that previous game, but this game with Bar with no name up, I drop the Ironlad and he pulls the only card in my deck that loses me the game, Dr. Doom. And yeah, it's just an unlucky go next situation. We start a fresh silver run and we get a discard gamer. It gives me the itch to play discard because I haven't in a while, but regardless, we get the Destroyed Mansion, and this is huge because we get value with Patriot, and then the following turn we get value with Mockingbird. Like, you shouldn't feel bad playing her out on turn 3 or 4 with 3 or 4 costs, because most people are out here playing Cole on 4, and that's perfectly fine. But I hit Absman, and I have no target, and I swear I usually have better hits. That's just like the one card that would be bad, and he Modocs. And I know he has a big boy APOC in his hand and some Swarm to make this play. And yeah, that was a close one. And to close it out, the next game we have Ironlad and we hit Doom, which pays off big. And then Bifrost slides all of our cards, kind of clogging us up. And the last turn, he ends up vomiting all of his swarms out along with the Sif. And his Dracula actually ends up pulling a swarm, which saves us the game. I realize it's because the new sandbar makes it so they actually cost 1, so he wasn't able to get rid of them all. And although we caught a lucky break there, this run ended in a heartbreak, I'm afraid. I had a winning board. Ironlad hit the Iron Man on Citadel. We both clogged our collapsed mind, and I have Patriot in hand. But I put it down, ended turn, and I got an air. Reconnecting to game. I have to start the whole client, and by the time I got back in, I saw I was out of timer where he makes this play, and I was just crushed. So yeah, we would have won that one, but it happens. But despite the heartbreak, we won 3 or 4 of those 10, and it put me up to 6 keys from my next video. And we can at least turn 1 or 2 of those into infinite tickets, I am sure. But I hope you liked this video. I think this deck is the one I'm going to start recommending to people with smaller collections that ask for a deck to climb to infinite. So hopefully that is helpful. And speaking of helpful, if you'd like to help me, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, comment, and subbed. I'm pushing for partner, which is 1,000 subs for the Marvel Snap Creator Program. But that is all. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!